It's Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by super middleweight Zak Chelli. Zak, how you doing, mate?
I'm feeling great. Happy New Year. I'm looking forward to this January New Year.
Happy New Year indeed. I'm sure a rematch with Jack Cullen has been talked about many times over the years since you met
Mm,
in Eddie's back garden way back in 2020. Did
yeah.
you ever think it'd end up being for the British and Commonwealth titles, though?
Now, I remember over 3 years now ago now. Yeah, I remember wanting to rematch straight away. I remember people telling me they thought I won. Even Eddie Hearn messaging me telling me he thought I won, that he'd be happy to put a rematch on. Just fell through because it was different promotions. I went with Boxer, he stayed with Matchroom. And now our paths have collided again, and it's for the British and Commonwealth title. Couldn't ask for anything better.
What do you remember from that first fight?
All I remember is with I just left my my first ever promotion, and I was willing to fight anyone. And this fight just came to me, and I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks' notice. And I took it. I knew nothing about him. All I knew was he came up from middleweight and is English champion. When I met him, I was like, okay, he's pretty tall. But I've dealt with tall people before. Yeah, didn't really know much about him. Fought him, thought I won. The results came as a draw. I was like, damn, I want to rematch straight away. But we took different journeys. Yeah.
When you have a draw or a defeat, is there part of you that hopes the person that's on the other side will go on to do big things, just as the reflective,
Yeah.
credibility to you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. You hope so. Like, for example, even when I beat Umar Sadiq,
Mm.
then he ended up beating Cody Davis at super middleweight. That proved to me that, yeah, if I fought Cody Davis at super middleweight, I would have destroyed him. Um, so yeah, of course, you hope the people you do close with will end up doing good things.
And you were last out, you got a good win against Jordan Granham, of course, inside the distance. Before
Yeah,
that, though, the last time most people have seen you on TV was, of
yeah,
course, the defeat to Mark Jeffers. Just tell us
yeah.
what happened there, what your reflections on that one are.
Yeah, I know a lot of people tell me, no, say he's only had 2 week notice. Truthfully, I only had 2 week notice with him as well in his style because I was focused on Heffron.
Mm.
And there's you say those are politics behind it, and I could get into it, and because Heffron has the same manager as Jeffers, and you can say it was all planned in the background. He was training for him all this time. But let's leave it. Is it the past? Is in the past? I wasn't. You could tell I wasn't myself. I was focused on other things, and then I woke up halfway through the fight and decided to start boxing properly. And I did start winning the end of the rounds, but it's too late. No excuses. On the night he won, people could say it was a close fight. Give it to me anyway, but let's leave it as that. It's in the past. Hopefully, I'm not looking past Jack Cullen. That's my focus now. God willing, I will win that fight and with ease, and I will, give Jeffers an opportunity to fight for that British. But for now, Cullen is the main goal, and I'm not looking past him. I'm not doing the same mistakes as previous fights. Cullen, that's the guy I want.
Apart from the late notice change of opponent, have you been able to pinpoint whatever it was that may have gone wrong for Jeffers and change it for this fight, of course?
Yeah, I believe so. You know what they say, boxing is a 90% mental sport. You'll be in the game, and I'm focusing better how to be in the game and who I want. But just having Jack Cullen as an opponent has made things a lot better for me, made me really happy. I've always wanted a rematch. I always wanted to prove people that it wasn't a draw, and I did win that fight, even though people do believe it. Prove it to myself as well. So yeah, I'm very happy, and I think that's going to help me on the night as well, and keep me focused.
In what ways might you go about this time differently from when you fought Cullen the first time?
I don't want to say too much because I'm surprised on the night, but yeah, you'll see something different. You'll see a more focused Zak Chelli, and I got a great game plan. I had great sparring. Callum Smith, sparring with Craig Richards. Top level sparring. He's been in for what type of fights. Yeah, I'm very grateful. I'm very happy with it, and I'm more focused in this camp.
And no disrespect to Jack Cullen, but I think most impartial observers would say that Callum Smith and
Mm,
Craig Richards would probably rank above him at the moment
yeah,
in Britain, pound for pound. How much of a boost is that when you're sparring people who a lot of people would consider superior to your opponent?
yeah. I mean, that's the reason I went to spar them. That's the reason my coach Barry went to find them and got me sparring with them. To boost that confidence mentally. Um, yeah, and I felt great. I hold my own with them. I did pretty well. They all obviously called me back for more sparring. Yes, I'm very confident. I'm very, very confident. Not arrogant, confident, and I'll be happy to show it on the night.
And how long have you been working with your coach you mentioned just then?
Oh yeah, so we had that fight in September. I believe straight after my last fight in July. Yes, I've been working with Barry for years, really. He's been there when I had my Southern Era title. He was there when I won the English title. He was there when I won the WBA Intercontinental title. So he's always been in my corner. I've always worked with him, trained with him. Now he's just taken a more lead role, training in his gym, State of Mind in Hammersmith. Yeah, I think it's been great. So we work really well together. He's got great sparring. It's a great partnership. So I'm very happy with it.
And what made you decide to give him a more prominent role in the camp, in the team?
Well, he's always done good. He's got great experience with George Groves. He said he's been training with Triple G when he went out in Big Bear. And obviously my father, he had to go to Tunisia for a few months, look after his mother, look after his property. My father has business that he's got to deal with out in his home country. And, it felt right to give it Barry the lead role because we've been with him before and he's really, every title I've won, he was in the corner. So, yeah.
You've often been compared to George Groves, of course. I think you're even born in the same hospital, as was Joe Calzaghe, I believe, even though Wales obviously claimed him quite quickly. But is he someone you kind of aspire to? You talked about the work Barry O'Connor, of course, has done with him.
I remember watching George Groves train when I was at Del Youth. And then a few years later, ended up sparring George Groves when Shane McGreen used to train him in Wandsworth. Yeah, so yeah, I've been around him a lot. And, then George Groves got beat by Callum Smith. And I believe I've done good work with Callum Smith. So, yeah, it's been all around the same people. Yeah, it's great it's funny how the world works. Small world in the end, right?
We talked about what great sparring Callum Smith is for you ahead of this fight. It's quite a compliment, isn't it, that he wants to work with you ahead of a fight with Beterbiev, who most people consider a pound-for-pound contender.
Yeah, I went there 1 week, great sparring, and I think we went back there the same week, just a few days afterwards. So yeah, it was great. It was meant to go back again, but just with the logistics didn't work. I was waking up at 5 a.m. I drove there myself once for 4 hours. So I woke up at 4 hours, got there for 9, 10, done my 8 rounds of sparring, then drove all the way back. So it was pretty hefty, and I believe I've done it twice in the same week. I was thinking, yeah, it's a bit much, but I'm happy I've got experience in there.
What did you make of him, and especially coming up to what is a bit of a crunch clash for Callum?
Yeah, I believe he's got a tough fight ahead of him, but his coach is very experienced. He's been there in the world titles himself. I believe he's just listened to his coach and he moves around with Bird. It doesn't get too much involved, that Canadian. Just moves around. I believe he could do the job, but if he gets involved, the guy's really strong and he can take the punch. I'm not sure. It'd be a good fight to watch, but I hope Smith does it.
What's the right word to say? What approach do you take to sparring, especially when it is against these top level people who are in and around your own weight? I mean, how much of it is learning and how much of it is trying to prove a point?
He's a bit of both. You start off trying to figure out your opponent, figure out what they're about, try to feel their toughest punch on your glove, and then you work on that, and then you try to get a bit ahead of them, see what they got. Yeah, it's a bit of effort. You learn and you try to push yourself a bit, try to get their best out of them, see if you could take it. And I believe that's what I did.
You've been a pro for a number of years now and a full-time pro for a little while as well after graduating from university. What do you feel the progress report is? Are you where you thought you would be?
Honestly, for 26-year-old to fight for the British and Commonwealth title, I'm really happy. I've won the Southern Area, I've won the English, I won the WBA Intercontinental title. And honestly, alhamdulillah, which means all praise thanks to God. I'm very happy. I'm very happy, and now I'm fighting for British and Commonwealth title. So I'm very grateful to the position I'm in. For only 26-year-old, it's great.
I want to ask you as well, obviously you alluded to it, you're a Muslim. There's been a huge number of cards in Saudi Arabia recently. A lot of British fighters going over there. Is that something you look at, particularly as a Muslim fighter, wanting to be involved?
I mean, as a Muslim fighter, I like to fight anyway, I don't know. But yeah, the Saudi Arabia would be great. I do speak a bit of Arabic, so it will go a long way. Meeting the sheikh, I'm sure they have lots of money, but help me out a lot as well. Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to fight in Saudi Arabia. That'd be great. I mean, that's something we'll work on. Maybe if the boxer need me to be the communications guy, I'll be happy to do it.
And someone who's worked with Boxer in recent times and someone who's connected with George Groves, who we talked about, and Callum Smith and people like that, is Chris Eubank Jr. Now, he's recently seen a big money fight fall through against Conor Benn. You've obviously got some rebuilding to do in your own right, but down the line, is that a fight you'd be at all interested in?
Definitely, but I think Eubank's staying at middleweight. If he comes super middle, I'm happy. I'll be happy to do that. That'd be a great fight, big fight. Sparred him many years ago, and it was a great spar. We can make it to a fight. I'd be very happy with that. The cards are on the table.
Out of everyone you've sparred, and this is going back years, of course, because you started very young as a very good junior. I remember at times ABC and Dale Youth and so on. who's the best you've sparred? Who taught you the most, or who have you learned the most watching?
Say two of the best. One of the hardest punchers I've sparred, I'd say Buatsi. Very strong, very strong. And I sparred him a few times in Croydon and once in Dubai. Very good. And ones I say I learned the most from, very technical, George Groves. I was very grateful to spar with him. That was like one of my first proper good spar I've ever had. And yeah, so those two boxers are great. And I've actually heard they used to spar each other a lot. So
Yeah,
it's all good.
great stuff. Well, Zak, I wish you the very best of luck for the big rematch with Jack Cullen. Lot to gain, obviously, British and Commonwealth titles on the line. Just tell people out there before I let you go how they can find you on the different social media platforms they can get involved.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter is all Zak Chelli. So yeah, man, send me a DM if you want tickets. And I appreciate you doing this interview with me, Danny.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. And very best of luck. And yeah, let's chat after the fight.
See you there, my friend.
Cheers, mate. Take care.